Okay, so now let us continue our discussion further and see how do we multiply three or more monomials together. Now remember, the monomial by monomial multiplication was very important. So for multiplying three monomials, we follow the same rules as we discussed earlier for multiplying one monomial by another monomial, and m stands for monomial here. Okay, so essentially we multiply the constants separately and we also multiply the variables separately and also follow the rules of exponents and powers. However, we need to now understand one important exception is that the final answer will now take two steps. So what we do is we first multiply two monomials and get a result, and then that product of the first two monomials must be multiplied by the third one. So if I were to represent that symbolically, let's say we have a monomial m1, we have a monomial m2, and we have a monomial m3. You multiply m1 into m2 first, and then this product will be multiplied with m3. Let us look at an example of how do we do that. So here is an example of multiplication of three monomials. We are saying multiply 2x by 5y by 7z. Now the first step we do is to multiply 2x by 5y. So this is our first multiplication that we are doing here. And if you remember from our earlier discussion on multiplying one monomial by another one, we just multiply the two coefficients in this. So we have 2 multiplied by 5, and then we also multiply the variables differently. So we have x multiplied by y. So the answer of the first step or the result is 10xy multiplied by 7z. As you can see, instead of three monomials, now we have two monomials, and this one 10xy is the product of the first two monomials, that is 2x multiplied by 5y. And in the second step, what we do is we multiply these two monomials again, that is 10xy multiplied by 7z, to get the final answer. So in this case, we will multiply 10 by 7, so we get 10 times 7 over here, multiplied by xy into z, and so 10 times 7 is 70, and xy multiplied by z gives you xyz. So your final result of multiplication of three monomials, 2x multiplied by 5y multiplied by 7z, gives you 70x, y, and z. Now just let us look at how would you multiply more than three monomials. Well, the rule is very simple. All we do is we extend the rules, or we extend the steps that we did for multiplying three monomials. What we did is we just took two monomials at one time, and that is all what we do. Okay, so you keep on doing this till you get the final result. So let us look at a quick example of how I would multiply four monomials. So we have 2x multiplied by 5y multiplied by 5z multiplied by 7z. Now you can do some simplification as well when you are doing this, as you will see in this sum later on. So first let us take these two, that is 2x multiplied by 5y. So what we are doing is, again, we multiply the coefficients, that is 2 times 5, and we multiply with the two variables, that is x times y. So the result of these two, it gives you 10xy. Now the second part we can do is we can also multiply these two products, these two monomials here, that is we have 5z and 7z. Okay, so what we do is we multiply 5 by 7, these two coefficients, and we multiplied the z by z. So we have z times z over here, and when you simplify this, okay, you get 35z squared, and here you have 10xy. Now you can see that, you know, we have just used the 5 times 7 multiplication just because it is giving us a quick answer. It is easier for us to do it this way. Okay, so do use your discretion when you are solving the sum to see if a particular grouping can give you a quick answer. Now what we do is, once we have these two monomials, so what we have done is we have reduced the four monomials now to 2, and we have 10xy multiplied by 35z squared. All we do is, again, we follow the same rule of multiplying one monomial by another monomial. So we have 10 multiplied by 35 over here, and then we multiply the xy and z square, that is the variables. So your final answer 10 times 35 is 350 and xy z squared. So this is how you would multiply more than 3 monomials. This method is applicable even to 4, 5, 6 or any number of monomials. The key thing to keep in mind is multiply 2, try to keep the calculation simpler, and therefore you will arrive at the final answer.